Schwab folks, what should you check as soon as possible in your Schwab account? What are Schwab's core money market fund positions? And which money market funds do we hold in our Schwab accounts and why? Hello members and super savers. These are the 3 questions that I'll be covering in today's video because, well, that's what you guys asked for after we posted this one on Fidelity's core money market fund positions. Linked below for those of you with Fidelity. And Vanguard folks, we heard you too. The Vanguard money market video is already in the works as we speak. Here's our front of video disclaimer as customary before we dive in. For a detailed disclaimer, please refer to the end of this video. Check that the majority of your uninvested cash that's sitting in your Schwab account is not in their bank sweep program. Because if it is, this is the rate that you're getting on that uninvested cash right now. Here's how to check. After I log into my Schwab account, I'm going to select balances from this menu up here. And I'll be taken to this screen showing my balances for all the accounts that I have with Schwab. Let's scroll down. This is what I'm looking for. Bank sweep and a significant amount here that is positive. If you don't see this in any of your Schwab accounts, that's great. If you do see this, that's not great because it means you're getting this measly rate that I just showed you earlier. And for those of you who might be interested, you can also click on your program banks here, and this screen will pop up showing which program bank the uninvested cash from that particular Schwab account is currently deposited in, based on the account balance. And yes, funds deposited at these program banks are insured in aggregate up to $250,000 per program bank per depositor for each account ownership category by the FDIC. Good to know. But if you do find this bank sweep and a significant amount here that is positive and you're not happy with this rate that you're getting on your bank sweep amount, then you may want to pay close attention to the next section of our video. So Schwab doesn't have any core money market fund positions in the sense that Fidelity and Vanguard have them. There, you have it. Schwab just doesn't do core money market fund positions. Video over. Just kidding. About the video being over, that is. The part about Schwab not having a core money market fund position like Fidelity and Vanguard do is serious though. With the exception of some limited and or legacy accounts, Schwab does not offer the option to automatically sweep uninvested cash into a money market fund. They only automatically sweep into the very low interest yielding bank sweep that I talked about in the previous video section. So if you want to earn some more yield on the uninvested cash parked in your Schwab account, you have to buy a money market fund with that uninvested cash yourself, just like you would buy any stock or other type of fund. And when you need access to the money from that money market fund to buy your next bond, stock, or other investment with, or just to withdraw the cash because you need it, you would have to sell that money market fund position to access that cash. According to the friendly Schwab representative I spoke to, they eliminated sweep money market funds as a cash feature for most new and existing accounts before 2020. And it was before his time, so he doesn't know why they did this. Anyway, let's look at what this means in real life with a timeline for the purchase and sale of a Schwab money market fund. Say that on Tuesday you buy a Schwab money market fund before the market closes, which generally speaking on normal trading days is before 4 p.m. On Wednesday, you would see that Schwab money market fund appear as a position in your Schwab account. And then, let's say on Thursday, you find an amazing T-bill or agency bond that you want to buy, but you've parked all your available cash into this money market fund. What you'd have to do now is you'd have to sell your Schwab money market fund on Thursday, again, before the market closes. And only on Friday would the proceeds from the sale of the money market fund appear in your Schwab account. And that's when you would be able to access that cash and or buy that T-bill or agency bond that you were looking at on Thursday. And if you had sold your money market fund on a Friday, the proceeds from that sale would appear in your Schwab account on Monday only. So basically, with Schwab, parking your uninvested cash in a money market fund comes with one pro and two cons. The one pro is that at this point in time, you can earn a much higher yield than the automated bank sweep option. And the two cons are that it requires a bit more effort, more work because it's not automated. Plus, you can't make spontaneous purchases because you have to wait until the next day before the funds from the money market sale are available for use, which may or may not matter to you, but which you should nonetheless be aware of. Assuming that the cons, the disadvantages, don't bother you too much, and you want to earn that attractive higher yield, here are the government and Treasury money market funds that Schwab offers. There are basically 3 different money market funds in this category, broken down into 2 share classes each. The investor share classes have a slightly lower yield and no minimum initial investment. The ultra share classes yield 15 basis points more than their investor share class equivalent, but have a much higher minimum initial investment of $1 million. This 15 basis point difference between investor and ultra share classes seems to come from the fact that the investor share classes generally have net expense ratios of 34 basis points, whereas the ultra share classes generally have net expense ratios of 19 basis points, so 15 basis points lower. Also, remember that these 7-day yields are always net yields, meaning net of the expense ratio. You don't need to deduct the expense ratio again. Here's an overview of Schwab's government and Treasury money market funds. This row shows the name of the money market fund. This row shows the ticker symbols. The first one is the investor share class with a slightly lower yield and no minimum initial investment. The second one is the ultra share class with a slightly higher yield and a minimum initial investment of $1 million. This row shows the 7-day yield for each fund at the time of this taping. Again, the first one is for the investor share class, and the second one is for the ultra share class. This row shows each money market fund's holdings, what's in the fund's portfolio basically. This is the verbiage taken from Schwab's website, but in a nutshell, what this means is that Schwab's government money fund holds U.S. Treasuries, agency securities, and repurchase agreements backed by, collateralized by, U.S. Treasuries and agency securities. Schwab's Treasury Obligations Money Fund holds primarily U.S. Treasuries and repurchase agreements backed by U.S. Treasuries, so no agency-related securities. And Schwab's U.S. Treasury Money Fund only holds U.S. Treasuries. No repurchase agreements here at all from what we could see at the time of this taping. This row shows the weighted average maturity, the WAM, for all 3 money market funds. Generally speaking, the longer the maturity, the higher the interest, but also the greater the sensitivity to interest rate and market changes. But given the overall short WAMs that we're talking about in these instances, I don't think this matters too much. So do keep in mind that the income, the dividends, earned from these money market funds are in principle fully taxable at the federal level. A certain percentage, though, may be exempt from state income tax. This row shows the percentage of dividends exempt from state income tax in 2022 for each of these money market funds. But a woohoo for California, Connecticut, and New York. Gotta love living in a high income tax state with sometimes more restrictive taxation rules. The nice Schwab representative we spoke to also told us that while dividends on these money market funds accrue daily, those dividends are only paid out on the 15th of each month. If the 15th falls on a non-business day, then those dividends are paid out on the next business day following the 15th of that month, with December being the only exception. In December, dividends are paid out on the 31st for simpler tax planning purposes. Now, for those of you who are willing to take on a bit more risk for a bit more return, Schwab also offers a prime money market fund, again, separated into investor and ultra share classes. As with the government and Treasury money market funds we just talked about, the investor share class has a slightly lower yield and no minimum initial investment. As I'm fond of saying on this channel though, read the fine print, which is what I tend to do when I see an asterisk or footnote like this one next to the minimum initial investment. If we scroll down, what the asterisk indicates is that while investor shares have no initial investment minimum, Schwab systems require a minimum of $1 per trade, and minimums are subject to change. In any case, going back to Schwab's prime money market fund, the ultra share class yields 15 basis points more than their investor share class equivalent, but has a much higher minimum initial investment of $1 million, as with the ultra share class of the other money market funds previously discussed. So basically, Schwab offers 4 taxable money market fund options. These 3 government and Treasury ones that we just went through, as well as this primary money market one with a slightly higher yield and slightly riskier fund holdings. Again, this is the verbiage taken from Schwab's website, but in a nutshell, it basically refers to commercial paper, CDs, repurchase agreements, and time deposits by both US and foreign issuers. Here's the WAM, which is pretty much in line with the other 3 money market funds. And here's the percentage of dividends exempt from state income tax in 2022, which again may vary from year to year. On a federal level, dividends from this primary money market fund are fully taxable. In addition to these 4 taxable money market funds, Schwab also offers 4 different tax-exempt municipal money market funds, split again between investor and ultra share classes for each one. Here are the 7-day yields and minimum initial investment requirements for each fund and share class. There's even separate ones for high tax states like California and New York, as you can see here. Generally speaking, the higher the tax bracket, the more it might make sense to consider municipal investments in a taxable brokerage account. Having said that, the 7-day yield on this New York municipal money market fund is currently so low that it doesn't really make sense for us in our taxable brokerage account with Schwab, even when we factor in its tax-exempt status. But municipal bonds and municipal bond funds are a topic for an entire video of their own. Also, keep in mind that we're not tax advisors or your financial advisor, so please do speak with someone that understands your individual circumstances, goals, and expectations before diving into any investment. Let's talk briefly now about the money market funds that we do hold in our Schwab accounts and why. In our normal taxable brokerage account with Schwab, we park our uninvested cash in Schwab's U.S. Treasury Money Fund, SNSXX, because, well, we don't have $1 million plus of uninvested cash to park in SUTXX. On a serious note, the reason we like SNSXX for ourselves is that it has the highest yield amongst Schwab's government and Treasury money market funds. And even more importantly, our assumption is that, like in 2022, 100% of the dividends from SNSXX this year will also be exempt from New York State income tax, or at least a number closer to 100% than the 0% in these instances. In my traditional IRA, individual retirement account with Schwab, I hold the Prime Money Market Fund, Schwab's Value Advantage Money Fund, because it's the highest yielding taxable money market fund, and whatever interest I earn gets taxed as ordinary income anyway when I withdraw it. And what I do is plan a few days ahead. If I know that I need to do a video tutorial for our channel, say to buy a Treasury security or an agency bond, or perhaps something else altogether in the future, I'll sell the money market fund that I've temporarily parked my cash in so that the cash for my purchase is there when I need it. So for a few days, my uninvested cash is sitting in this bank sweep account, earning next to nothing. But that's just something I have to live with at Schwab. So for those of you with cash in one of Schwab's money market funds and who buy or are planning on buying treasuries at auction with Schwab, here's one way you can manage your money market fund versus cash position. Assuming everything goes as planned, on the day before the treasury auction takes place, you could sell your Schwab money market fund before the market closes. And on the day of the treasury auction, once the settled funds from your money market fund sale are in your account, you could place your treasury security purchase order, making sure to do this before the cutoff time. For Schwab, order entry cutoff on the day of the auction is 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for T-bills and 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time for Treasury notes. But as I always say, everyone's financial journey is different, and you should always follow a strategy that best suits your financial journey. Now, Which money market funds do you hold? Or are you planning on buying in your Schwab account, and why? Drop a comment below and let me and the other members and super savers know. And for those of you who want to learn more about the ins and outs of different types of money market funds, check out this Money Market 101 video here, where we dive into the details and the pros and cons of government, prime, and municipal money market funds. If, on the other hand, treasuries and agency bonds are more your cup of tea, then check out our latest member videos and get your questions answered in our next live member Q&A on August 25th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Visit our channel page or the join link in the video description below for more details about Diamond NestEgg membership. All right, Super Saver, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. And if you did, don't forget to share it with those you care about and hit that thumbs up, and see you again very soon with more brand new wealth building content for your financial journey.